reported then that Karafa, a resident of Angwarimi community of a Jos North local government area in Plateau State, was allegedly beaten to death by soldiers at Faringada axis of the area. It was alleged that the victim violated the 10 p.m. curfew imposed by the state government. Should that warrant his death? It shouldn't. Let's look at more stories that has dealt with police brutality. On the 29th of June 2021, soldiers in Calabar have been accused or were accused of beating a taxi driver to death for carrying passengers who were not wearing face masks. In an evidence-based video, one Ayebe Christopher took to his Instagram account to share. The second reason for not wearing face masks. And so, these soldiers beat the taxi driver to death. It happened on the 29th of June, 2021. Another video surfaced on the 28th of February, 2022. It surfaced on the internet, showing some men from the Nigerian army brutalizing two officers of the Nigerian Mobile Police in Warri, Delta State. It came 2 weeks after a police traffic officer was captured in a video being harassed by soldiers in Ibadan, Oyo State. In the February 28, 2022 video, about 5 soldiers were seen beating up the policeman. The incident was said to have happened during the weekend of that period along the Market Road in Warri. The security operatives were allegedly said to be fighting each other over food and money. Isn't that interesting? But in a letter dated November 23, 2021, to all formations and units, the Chief of Army Staff then called on military officers to forward all recorded incidents of police brutality against personnel to the Nigerian Army. In October 2020, you remember the killing at the Lekki toll gate. Very memorable day, October 20, 2020. On the 26th of March, 2022, a drunk soldier beat a car dealer to death in Osun State. It was a sad day for the family and friends of Adeline Yinka, who is a 37-year-old car dealer. That day, he was allegedly beaten to death by some soldiers after an argument broke out at a bar in Fadaunsi area along Imo Street, Ilesha, Osun State. Yinka's 78-year-old father, David, said he woke up with joy and ended the day with sadness because his only son died as a result of severe punishment inflicted on him by the troops of the Nigerian Army from Ibodi Barracks, Ilesha. Fast forward again. We'll look at another story. This one, on the 3rd of April 2022, Sahara reporters learned that the Nigerian Army threatened a woman who exposed how soldiers tortured a man to death, forced him to eat his own vomit in Osun Barracks. The woman's name, which was withheld, narrated to Sahara reporters how a 37-year-old man, Adekunle Yinka, was tortured to death and how she has been threatened by authorities of the Nigerian Army. It went on and on. If we go back to December 18, 2021, I'm giving you facts, stories from the dailies. We're looking at soldier brutality in Nigeria. A female police officer in Delta State, Nigeria's South, has accused some soldiers of torturing her 24-year-old son to death. According to a report by the Punch newspaper, the officer, Mercy Ehima, an assistant superintendent of police, said her son, Christian Ehima, jumped off a vehicle that was driven by suspected kidnappers, ran into the bush, and later came out to seek help from soldiers at a military checkpoint in Benin City, Edo State. Rather than the soldiers helping him, the soldiers assaulted this young man. She said the son later died in the hospital of internal injuries after narrating what happened to him. Very pathetic. When will we get these things right? We're supposed to protect lives and property, but not to assault and brutalize lives in this country. Out of every 12, there's a Judas. The army is doing well, right? Yes, they are. But there are some bad eggs. And I hope the formation will fish them out soon. It's the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. I'll be joined later on the show by Professor Remi Ayede. Barrister Yomi Ogunla will join us later on. He's unavoidably absent, but he will join us on the show this morning. He will speak with us this morning. Stay tuned, don't go away. It's the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. We'll go on this break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at what happened in Ibadan, precisely Songo, on the 14th of August, 2022. 14th of August, just sometime last week. What happened? We'll get to know. I am CHIKE OGBOGU.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Power oil, power oil. Bunga cooking oil, we get different sizes and different packs. Oh, power oil, power oil. The one way this sweets me na mini pack for 100 naira. Yeah. Power oil, power oil. Play everywhere. Power oil, good for your heart. Power oil, cholesterol. Power oil, no trans fat. Power oil. And people who listen to your heart use power oil. Power oil, power oil.
Ẹ̀gbọ́n ìjàre mọ́lẹ̀ ọlọ ìjàre àti pọ́n kékeré kalẹ̀ ọ̀dẹ̀ ní gbọ́ àfẹ́dẹ́ lọ́mì ó dà gan gbogbo rẹ̀ ló pé pérépéré.
Tí olúwa nílẹ̀ àti ẹ̀kú rẹ̀.
Ayé àti àwọn tó mọ̀ tán rẹ̀.
Ẹlẹ́wọ̀n gbà.
Kò lè má rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Onírúurú talẹ̀talẹ̀ ló ń bẹ nílẹ̀ yìí ṣùgbọ́n àrà ọ̀tọ̀ ni Danabits Homes and Properties torí wọ́n fi ni lọ́kàn balẹ̀. Àwọn tó ti bá wọn dòwò pọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ rí ni wọ́n ti lè sọ àǹfààní tó ń bẹ lọ́dọ̀ wọn. Àwọn ni wọ́n ń ta ilẹ̀ Victory Estate Phase 1 àti Phase 2 alábàtà mọ́níyà tí ò kọjá ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́ta sí railway terminal. Ìfà ńlá tó ni Treasure Estate tó wà ní Ìdó Lẹ́bàá University wọ́n ń gbèrò ẹ̀. Favour Estate náà wà ní Mòwe tí ò sì kọjá agbára. Má sọ ọmọ ni ti Joyce Cotton Gardens tó wà níwájú Bethel American International School Ìrókò lójú ọ̀nà Ìbàdàn sílùú Ọ̀yọ́ 550,000 naira péré ni àti bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ lórí àwọn ilẹ̀ yìí. Ìrọ̀rùn ló bá dé torí owó wọn kò gara. Bọ́rọ̀ èèyàn bá wá níjà sí irú ti bàbá Ìjẹ̀ṣà. Eré tètè lọ sí ọ́fíìsì wọn ní Prime Time Plaza Ọba Alẹ́ṣinlọ́yẹ́ Phase 2 lẹ́bàá Bidin Petrol Station lálẹ́ṣinlọ́yẹ́ Ìbàdàn. Sanwó kò gbalẹ̀ lójú ọgán ọ̀fẹ́ sì ní corner piece lọ́dọ̀ wọn. Àyè san díẹ̀díẹ̀ tún wà níbẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àlàyé ẹ ṣáà ti pè wọ́n sórí 090-477-97352 tàbí 081-884-18137. Danabits Homes and Properties àwọn ni wọ́n sọ ilé kíkọ́ dìrọ̀rùn fọmọ aráyé.
Any flourish tea, any flourish capsule, egbògi ohun mímu tó fara lókun. Ó mára jí pépé o, ó mẹ́jẹ̀ mọ́ lóló, ó dènà fúnpá gíga. Any Robot Global Ventures ló ṣe o.
Bó o bá rẹni tó mu any flourish tea, wà á ti dá mọ̀ yàtọ̀, á tutù lẹ́jẹ̀ dódódó, àwa máa dán lójú yọ̀yọ̀yọ̀. Ilé-iṣẹ́ any Robot Global Ventures ló ń ṣe. Ògùn mímu atẹ́jẹ̀ṣe tá a fi wé àtẹ̀gbò igi ilẹ̀ wa ṣe lóríṣiríṣi nílànà ti gbàlódé pẹ̀lú ìmọ́tótó. Ó wà lólómi àtòníkóró. NAFDAC fòǹtẹ̀lú gbà. Ní gbogbo ilé ìtajà lẹ́tí lè ríra. Ilé-iṣẹ́ any Robot Global Ventures wà ní nọ́mbà 33 Ondo Street, Ọ̀ṣuntòkun Avenue, Old Bodija, Ìbàdàn. Láti rà tàbí jí alágbàtà rẹ̀ ẹ pè 070-6719-7812.
When the people became silent,
the government became oppressive. It's time to lend your voice to politics.
On 32 FM 94.9.
Safasa pelisizo simnyama Iwasafa Isizo saba Kavula mo Alichaleni ko Kelize Wemaye wemodo Safasa pelisizo isizwe simnyama iwasafa evula moya eninkokhelize wemaye ngiyakhala wasafasa phela isizwe simnyama iwasafa alamula eninkokhelize wemaye wemodo
Welcome back to the show. It's still the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. Remember the narration I started with this morning. And before that break, I told you that something happened in Ibadan on the 14th of August 2022. A middle-aged man, precisely a 42-year-old man, on a Sunday went to hustle to make ends meet. His family went to church, but he went out to see what he would do to provide food on the table by the time they come back. What happened to this young man? He's a cab driver, or he was a cab driver. He plies the route Ojo, UI, Sango, Mokola, Dugbe. Do you understand that route? So that fateful morning, he got into his cab, started the engine, he cranked it, and moved. He picked up some passengers. He dropped some off, and when he got to Sango, he met another story entirely. Name of this young man, Simon Henry. He also works in a bank, a microfinance bank, as a driver. When he closes from work, from the bank, he picks up his cab and moves around. Some will say, is that a side hustle? Yes, it could be a side hustle. But this side hustle is a legitimate side hustle. His cab is registered under a union. That makes it more legitimate. With me in the studio this morning, I have somebody here who will tell me the story. What happened at the point when he dropped his passenger at Sango? Let me start with Munachimso Henry. Munachimso Henry is the wife of Simon Henry. Munachim, good morning, and it's good to have you in the studio this morning.
Good morning, sir.
I need you to speak up a bit. Good morning once again.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. How are you doing this morning? It's a cold morning, but I see you were not in the right frame of mind, but getting you down here is a privilege, so we can talk about it. What happened on the 14th of August, 2022, just last week?
14th of August is a day I will never forget in my life. It happens on that day, 14th of August, on Sunday. My husband, Mr. Henry, asked us to go to church. That before the church closed, he will come and see us and give us money for food. I went to church with the children. I never knew that is the last day I would see my husband. I never knew that on Saturday night he bathed the children. We eat happily that Saturday night. We ate dinner. I never knew that could be the last dinner. I never knew that the touch he bathed the children would be the last touch he touches them. I never knew that my joy will end in sorrow. We went to church. I later called him 11. We talk happily, and I still remind him that before church closed, he said no problem.
That was around 11 a.m.
Yes.
Okay.
Around 12, I called his number, he switched off. I think maybe he's charging his phone. So when the church closed, I still call his number, he switched off. I was in the church. I never knew that 12-1, my husband is battling with life and death. So I was told that my husband, he carried a corporal, Mr. Lẹ́yìn Kingdom, a soldier man.
No, let's take it a step at a time. He picked up some passengers from Ojo, according to eyewitnesses. And part of those passengers, there was a soldier man inside the taxi, right?
Yes.
They got to Songo. Before we start mentioning names, what happened at Songo?
That Songo, he was asking the money from...
That was what you were told, right?
Yes.
Okay, hold on there. I also have somebody here in the studio who is the head of operations of the microfinance bank where Simon Henry worked, Dr. Chris Igbineke. Good morning. It's good to have you on the podium.
Good morning, Mr. CHIKE, and good morning, Nigerians, and thanks for having me here.
You worked with Simon Henry, right?
Yes.
How would you describe him? What kind of person was he?
Henry Simon is a hardworking Nigerian. He is loyal to this country. He pays his tax as a true citizen. And also he is a very good colleague. And from the much I know with him for, let's say, 8 years or more, he's a responsible father and a husband.
On the 14th of August 2022, what really transpired at the Songo end in Ibadan here?
Yes, 14th of August, it happened that Henry Simon, as a cab driver on that fateful day, was moving from Ojo, where he picked passengers, one of whom was an army officer. Around some other, based on the eyewitness, he asked for his fees. Others paid, but the soldier refused, saying that he is a man of authority and as such he is not supposed to pay. Because Henry had promised his family that he was going to hustle, and beside that, car doesn't belong to him. So he insisted, because that's where he feeds his family from, and it was legit. And he parked his car and insisted that the soldier man pay him his money. Rather than the soldier man paying, he brought out his dagger, punctured his tire, not 1, 2, and 3. And this was the beginning of a journey for Henry that led him to the mortuary. Although there were several interventions from the National Union of Road Transport team, but the soldier insisted that for a bloody civilian like Henry to have the guts to ask for his money after working was an affront on him as someone who is in authority. Started chasing him. Long story short, he mobilized his team from the Division 2, and eventually they came and beat Henry till he died.
That's from the OGBOGU barracks, right?
Sure.
It's a sad
Also,
story.
the other team that came were brief that came in from the side of Mokola, because there's another barrack around
Yeah,
Mokola.
the Letmore barrack.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You can go on Facebook. You see some of these pictures. The name of the officer is there on Facebook. His picture is there. You can see the taxi. The taxi, the tires were punctured. 4 tires punctured. The taxi is there. The officer is there. You know, eventually, when we started investigating this, we got to find out that his identity card dropped at the scene where this thing happened. He's a Lance Corporal, and the name Linye Kingdom is what we have on the ID card. Linye Kingdom. His service number is there. 16NA/75/34982. His date of birth is there. 10th June 1995. That's what we have on that ID card that was picked up at the crime scene. You can see his face there. Standing beside a car, a bike there. On his right hand, you see him wielding the dagger. And on the ground, he removed his jacket, his khaki jacket, the camouflage jacket, wearing only his camouflage shirt. Can you see that there? That is Linye Kingsley. It's a pathetic one. Munachim, before I come to you, I want to welcome Professor Remy Ayede to the studio. Prof, good morning. It's good to have you back.
Yeah, good morning. And good morning, viewers, listeners. It's a pleasure to be here this very cold morning.
Very cold morning. And it's actually cold with the story we have.
Absolutely.
It's a cold story on a cold morning. Munachim Henry, this is the wife of, if you watch us live on Facebook, you see she's sitting to my left. You have how many kids?
I have 2.
Come closer to the mic.
I have 2 kids.
2 kids. I can see them here, a boy and a girl. So bright. Before Imelda is the eldest. Imelda Henry is a 9-year-old girl who is in primary 5. We also have Lawrence Henry, who is a 6-year-old boy who is in primary 2. Before they speak, I want you to listen to what Imelda said. It's so touching. Let's listen to Imelda here.
Imelda Henry. I am 9 years old in primary 5. I want to be a doctor in future. My brother Lawrence. I want to be a doctor in future. My brother Lawrence. He wants to be a lawyer in future to defend Nigeria like my father Henry, who was killed by the Nigerian soldiers. So please help us bring justice.
Facebook and watch this program live. We'll go on a short break. And when we come back, we'll still talk more on this. Stay tuned, don't go away.
When the people became silent,
The government became oppressive. It's time to lend your voice to politics.
on 32 FM 94.9. In order to matter, matters of the state must matter to you.
If some people are crying that they are in darkness, they should go and hold those who vandalize the installation.
Let me say that the political crinkle.
Stay tuned to politics on 32 FM 94.9.
Welcome back. Imelda, how are you this morning?
I'm fine.
How old are you again?
I'm 9 years old.
And you're in what class?
I'm in primary 5.
I listened to you talk about you wanting your brother to be a lawyer. So what do you want to become?
I want to become a doctor.
Why do you want to become a doctor?
I want to become a doctor to treat patients.
Interesting. And you want your brother to become a lawyer? Why?
So that he can defend people in the courts.
In the court? Is that all?
Yes.
What's been going through your mind since that Sunday? I know you understand what really happened, right?
Not that really.
Do you miss daddy at home?
Sir?
Do you miss daddy at home?
Yes.
You've not seen daddy for more than a week now, right?
Yes.
He took your bath for you on Saturday night.
Yes.
And since then, you've not seen him.
Yes.
Lawrence, how are you?
Fine.
Can you speak up a bit?
Yes.
Daddy has not been at home, right?
Yes. Don't cry.
Do you miss him?
Yes.
What are you telling mommy, Imelda?
I'm telling her that she should not cry.
Mommy is crying, right?
Yes.
Mommy Lawrence.
Oh, don't cry.
It's a pathetic story.
They say you should not cry.
You can listen to what Imelda is saying. It's painful. Your husband is no more. But that's just the sad reality. Prof, you've been listening to this. You have one or two to say.
I think the certain about life is that once it is lost, it's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
You can't bring it back. And that's why when we are dealing with human beings, we have to be very conscious of that. Especially if you are somebody who wields arms or somebody who is capable of violence. It's a very dangerous thing to do. And in this case, it's a particularly insufferable because it was avoidable, it was unnecessary, it was uncalled for. Unfortunately, it has happened. And we also have to think about preventing it from reoccurring. We have to think about deterring those who want to take that part of violence, which therefore means that justice must be done.
Yeah.
People should not take the law into their hands, even when they think they are right and they are and they have the authority on their side. Not to talk of when they are even wrong. So we call on all the authorities, and we also believe that the commandant of the barrack is listening, and if it's not somebody from there, would be aware of what has happened. And Nigerians must not rest until justice is delivered. And it's really unfortunate that this has happened. And we pray for the family. We pray that God will grant the deceased eternal rest. And we also appeal to Nigerians to try whatever they can to comfort the family, to help the wife and the children that he has left behind. It's a very difficult situation in this time in the life of this country. We know what the economy is and the situations that is confronting every one of us. I mean, look at the effort, a hardworking, struggling Nigerian, law-abiding citizen, a caring father, a committed family man, working very hard to make sure that there's food on the table for his family. And to end up, I'm sure if he knew that that would be the outcome of, he would have allowed the officer to go. Because, I mean, it has caused so much pain. So I think that we really have to push this forward and ensure that justice is delivered. And we also have to do our part. We also called on the government of Oyo State. He's a taxpayer in the state. He resides here.
Yes.
They also have the Department of Justice. They also have to take this up and see what can be done to accelerate the process of bringing the culprit to justice.
Dr. Chris, let me come back to you. So far, how far with this issue? I know, was it yesterday or day before yesterday, I learned this Lance Corporal had been arrested by the military police, and he is in the guard room as we speak with 4 others that collaborated in perpetuating this heinous act. They are in the guard room now. In case, dear listener, in case you want to know, his identity card that was picked up at the scene of that incident is presently with the state CID. Investigation has commenced, and hopefully justice will be served. Let me come to you. There was a protest, and I know you were at the forefront of that protest. Any response from the military? Any response from the government?
All right, thank you very much, CHIKE. First is to say thank you to Nigerians, particularly the members of the NURTW and the family members who had cooperated. When this happened on the 14th, the Nigerian police was on the scene, where they combed the area and fetched some of those sensitive details. However, the investigation became a bit slow because somewhere in the middle they said they needed the autopsy, and as we speak, the UCH had not done that because they said the mortuary service is faulty. They were working on it. And sometimes justice delayed is almost like justice denied. And hence there was a need for us to do. So some of the actions that have been taken is that we have written a protest letter and submitted to His Excellency Engineer Seyi Makinde on Monday. Although we're told that he's currently on leave, but the acting governor is in charge, and the special advisor on security received that. We have also, that protest moved to the Division 2 headquarters, where we submitted a copy to the GOC, and thereafter it was acknowledged. So the army authority took us round, including where the last corporal is from, and they have said that they were going to swing into action. A panel of inquiry was constituted and we were invited, and we gave all our testimonies on that panel. We have also reached out to other media houses like Agidegbo FM, where we were
reached
granted
out to other media
houses.
Okay.
And then also, too, we are currently in talk with Amnesty International to ensure that the cause of justice is served. And again, we must say thank you to 32 FM, because right there at the protest scene, they were on ground. They saw the protest live. They saw the crowd. They listened. And as one of the people's voice around here, we are here today to further, seek their cooperation in reaching out to all the authorities. The young man died at 42, leaving behind 2 children, and the wife is not working as we speak. Life had been terrible, and that means that for these kids, Imelda and Lawrence, who are just 9 and 6 respectively, there's a long way in terms of academic development. These children need to go to school. The fact that their father's life had been cut short should not mean that their destiny should be. And just to make sure that we repair the bad image that these kids will grow up with, because their minds are still very young, as a country we need to speak and say no to this, and then help them to think well, grow well, and become a better citizen sometime in the future. Thank you.
All right, we'll go on a break, and when we come back, we'll go through the final lap of this segment. Stay tuned. Don't go away.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, eléyìí yàtọ̀ sí gbogbo wọn. Agview Investment Limited tó ń talẹ̀ Treasure Island Estate. Kó tó polówó rárá ni gbogbo dọ́kúmẹ̀ntì ti wà nílẹ̀ ní sẹpẹ́. CFO approved survey plan, approved layer. Ilẹ̀ tí wọ́n tà ń bàdàn lọ́wọ́ yìí. Treasure Island Estate ní sà. Tó kalẹ̀ sí Mọ́níyà. Ìrìn ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dógún ní sí Terminal Bridge. Àti Seaport Ìbàdàn. Wà á lọ́ọ̀mù onílẹ̀ tàbí tìjọba. Kò sí lórí Treasure Island Estate. 650,000 naira ní plọ̀tì ilẹ̀ kan. 50,000 naira down payment. Tẹ̀sí máa ṣẹlẹ̀ ìjókòó. Láàrin oṣù méjìlá. Lẹ́bà donílẹ̀. Láti jẹ̀fà. Ti Agview Investment Limited. Wíwá ẹ̀ máa bọ̀ lọ́fíìsì wọn bàdàn. 60 Dickert House. Ring Road Ìbàdàn. Lagos Office. 314 Ìkòròdú Road. Anthony Bus Stop Anthony Lagos. Tàbí kẹ́ ẹ máa pè 091-3600-0603. Agview Investment Limited.
Máa sọ wádìí láńlọ́ọ̀. Ẹ ṣe lógójọ́. Ṣe lógó.
Ta ló mọlúwa ọ̀gá mà tún ti pawọ̀dà gẹ́gẹ́ bí aláṣọ àrà o. Ta ló mọlúwa ètò kan àrà ọ̀tọ̀ tẹ́ ẹ máa ń jẹ̀gbádùn níkànnì adẹ́rìnpòṣónú 32 FM 94.9 ní gbogbo ọjọ́ àìkú Sunday láago 2:30 sí aago 3:00 ọ̀sán tẹ́lẹ̀. Ó ti pa àkókò dà ní sáà yìí sí aago 11 àárọ̀ di aago 12 ọ̀sán. Àkókò ló yí padà o. Gbogbo tẹ́ ẹ máa ń jẹ̀gbádùn lórí ètò Ta ló mọlúwa ò yí padà. Tèmítọ́pẹ́ ọmọ Fálànú yín onígègé àrà ọmọ ìyá àdúrà yóò máa wà lórí ètò láti tún máa kí oríkì Olódùmarè lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìṣe rẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́yìn tẹ́ mọlúwa náà máa darapọ̀ mọ́ wa láti kí oríkì olúwa tẹ́ ó sì tún láǹfààní láti jẹ ẹ̀bùn tẹ́ ẹ bá ti ń dáhùn ìbéèrè láti inú bíbélì mímọ́ láago 11 òwúrọ̀ sí aago 12 ọ̀sán ní gbogbo ọjọ́ àìkú Sunday ni o lẹ́hùn máa pàdé olólùfẹ́ yín Tèmítọ́pẹ́ ọmọ Fálànú lórí ètò Ta ló mọlúwa fún ìkéde àti ìpolówó ẹ kàn sí ẹ̀ka ìpolówó ọjà ní 32 FM tàbí kẹ́ ẹ pè Tọ́pẹ́ Fálànú sórí 070-5140-4540 070-5140-4540 Ta ló mọlúwa tọ̀sẹ̀ yìí á tún lárinrin o ẹ ò gbọ́dọ̀ mísì ẹ̀.
We fill the world with laughter. We are 32 FM 94.9.
Safasa pelisizo simnyama Iwasafa Isizo saba Kavula mo Anichaleni ko Kelize Wemaye wemodo Safasa pelisizo simnyama.
Welcome back. It's still the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. I've been joined by Barrister Yomi Ogunlola this morning. Barrister, good morning. It's good to have you on the podium.
Yes, my brother. How do you do?
How do you do too, sir?
Yes, wonderful.
All right. You've been listening to this sad story this cold morning, and can you share your thoughts on what you've listened to so far?
Yes, Chike, it's really sad. Despite EndSARS, Global Rights reported that about 164 cases of extrajudicial killings occurred in Nigeria between January and September 2021. One would have expected that we have learned our lessons with the EndSARS, but it appears the reverse is the case. You see, Chike, it is very obvious that government is not living up to its constitutional mandate as enshrined in Chapter 2 of the Constitution, particularly Section 14, subsection 2B, which provides that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. Now, the primordial verb shall, as used in that provision, indicates a mandatory duty. Now, Section 33 of the Constitution provides that every person has a right to life, and no one shall be deprived intentionally of his life, save in execution of the sentence of a court. Now, if you look at that provision, the word intention, as used therein, appears to provide a safe valve for police killings if it was not intended, because the prosecution in such a case must prove the presence of the mental element in the allegation of murder. But the courts appear to be living up to its bidding, though, as the cases show. For instance, where recklessness is established, a police officer who, even without the requisite mens rea, but found to have been reckless, will be liable for the consequences of his recklessness. I think the same should suffice for negligence. Now, that the atrocities are continuing means we need a new look at the books. We need a new look at the laws. Perhaps It's time we made these reprehensible killings by the police a strict liability offense. That's just the way to go. Otherwise, we'll keep coming on radio and talking about the killings of innocent people by some irresponsible individuals who were adorned with police uniforms and armed with arms and ammunition. It is sad.
It is so sad, Barrister. Prof, unfortunately, when they wear these uniforms, they feel so powerful. They feel untouchable. They feel they are mini gods that you don't even want to get close to them. And then the next thing, you weaponize them again. That is even worse. It's so sad. For me, I think for the first time I might share my personal opinion on the show. But for me, I think I'll toe the line of Barrister Yomungo. We need to revisit the books. We need to revisit the books. We need to have stringent measures against these people. Then I think many of them need some psychiatric evaluation before you join any of these forces, whatever we want to term it as. You need to go through some psychological or psychiatric evaluation. Let us know if you are fully fit mentally. Because when you wield that gun, you wield that dagger, any weapon you wield, if you're not stable mentally, you can misuse it. And when you do that, if people had not seen this young man, if his ID card had not fallen on the ground, he becomes the unknown soldier. And then he takes a walk. And the case is over. But you know, the Almighty has a way of doing things. He always plants something for justice to be served. Hence, the identity card. I hope we get justice at the end of the day. Madam Munachimso, Henry, like Dr. Chris just said now, you don't have what you're doing now, right?
Yes.
So for the past 1 week, how have you been surviving?
It's been not easy. It's not easy.
So what do you want the government to do for you? Let's start with the government first. What do you want government to do for you?
I want justice and support because the children, they are young and they need to go to school.
They're also bright. You know, Imelda, while speaking, so bright, so brilliant, intelligent. Lawrence is there too. Nothing will happen to these kids. We call on NGOs to come to their aid. It doesn't cost anybody. This is a political season, Prof. It doesn't cost anybody. Giving them realistic scholarships. I'm being specific. Realistic scholarships. Because there are some unrealistic scholarships. We call them audio scholarship. Audio scholarship. Where they promise and fail.
Those are no scholarships at all.
With a realistic scholarship. These kids can't waste. The breadwinner is gone. There is no longer bread on the table. Who will give them bread? Who will give them bread? Somebody somewhere will give them bread. The tears flow down through your eyes. I can see them. But the sad reality is that your husband is gone. The beat, the drum beat has stopped. His own dance is over. For you and the kids, the beat is still on. You're still dancing. And you will dance well. You will dance well.
Amen.
What do you want from the military, from the Nigerian army? What do you want from the army? The same thing you want from the government?
I want compensation.
You want compensation from the army, right?
Yes.
No, speak out. Speak out.
I want compensation from the army.
Okay. And if possible, the army should, you see, the military should have like an endowment fund, where the issues like this can be tackled within the military. Go on Facebook and watch these things on Facebook. Let me read some messages on Facebook. Some of our comments on Facebook. We have Ubuaja Ndobonwa Onyebuchi Ike. He says, Nigerians are waiting and watching how this will play out. I am optimistic that justice will be served. And Nofi Oladimeji is saying justice. That's all. Justice. That's what he wants. Ubuaja Charles Mezier says, Henry was a good friend, colleague, and brother. He deserves justice as well as every other victim of brutality. You want to join this conversation? Let me open the phone lines. 0705 5949 and 0809 7949. We might just have one NGO calling us to see what we can do to this. Okay, Diron Babatunde says 32 FM should not keep quiet until this matter. On this matter until justice is achieved. Oluwaseun Arinde says Henry deserves justice. He was a good friend. Bayoke says, I pray this won't be swept under the carpet as usual. May God heal our land. Little Professors is saying, sad, sad, sad. Justice. Everyone seems to be talking about justice. Okediro is welcoming Prof back. Missing the objective analysis. It's highly unfortunate that someone who is supposed to be defending Nigerians, is the one killing law-abiding citizens. Let's pick this call. Hello, good morning. Kindly turn down the volume on your radio set. Hello, good morning. Okay, I have to let you go. You have to call back 0705 5949 and 0809 7949. Let me pick one or two calls and see. I move on to the next segment of the show. It's still the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from? All right, John.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Is it possible?
Hello?
I'm asking that from what I heard from this program, the panel was set up, someone went there to give evidence. But the suspect was not present. That is number one. For the suspect not to be present, we are talking of justice. The suspect must be present to be part of that because in case of any questions to ask him or if he has anything to say. I doubt if that person will be made to prison. And what is the justice is, we are talking that he should be charged to court. From my own experience, will it be easy like that? And then when you talk of compensation, I doubt if the Nigerian Army will do that. The compensation can only be carried out if some organization can drag the Nigerian Army to court to seek for that compensation, especially for the children of the deceased. It's unfortunate incident. John Ujoke.
Thank you, John, for calling. Okay, let's pick this. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is I'm calling you from Tipa Garage.
Your name is what?
My name is Joseph. I'm calling you from Tipa Garage.
Okay, from Tipa Garage. Go ahead, Joe.
Yes. Well, I just want to say that it is unfortunate for what has happened to this family. As I am listening to you live on the program, I can see that the future of those children are so bright. I want to say this, that since the...
Okay, you have to call us back. Joseph from Tipa Garage, you have to call back. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from? Hello? You're live on radio.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Orúkọ mi Jacob Ọláorí láti Kòtẹ́dé Ìbàdàn.
All right, go ahead.
Ìgbà tí ẹ ti ń bá ọ̀rọ̀ kódà mo ń sunkún mo ìwà ẹni. Àmì ẹ̀ dalè mo ń sunkún gbà mo bá ń bẹ̀ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ṣé bá ti máa bá Nàìjíríà lọ náà ní ká máa para wa? Ohun tó ń pa lẹ́kùn jù ni àwọn ọmọ yẹn. Ẹ̀sìnlẹ̀ ọmọbìnrin yẹn. Ká nírú àwọn ọmọ tó máa di Nàìjíríà rí lọ́la. Ká máa in fact kẹ́rí nǹkan tó fẹ́ kẹ́ ṣe ni pé kí ìdájọ́ òdodo kọ́ fi sójà ẹ̀ hàn kọ́ fi orúkọ rẹ̀ síta kí wọ́n jẹ́ kí gbogbo ògbó wá ṣe é sì ayé káàkiri máa mọ̀ àlẹ́ ilọ́ sẹ́ẹ̀tì kéèsì fún Ṣèyí Mákindé.
All right. Thank you. I'll get an interpretation to what he said. I know he talked about he crying, even as an elderly person.
Yeah, and that he's very concerned about the children.
Okay, so justice should be served. Okay.
He's also going to talk about contact with the governor.
Okay. Okay, he talked about the contact with the governor.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll learn Yoruba someday and learn it well. Okay, I'm trying a little bit. 0705 5,949 and 0809 7,949. How do we help these young kids? How do we help their mom? How do we help the family as a whole? That's what we're looking at. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Your name and where you're calling from?
Is it Agbidigbo you are calling?
Okay, you're calling a wrong program and a wrong station. It is 32 FM 94.9 and the program is The Podium at this time. So if you want to contribute on the subject matter this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Kindly turn down the volume on your
Good
radio.
morning.
If not, I caught the call.
My name is Rafi from Akpete.
Your name is what?
My name is Rafi from Akpete.
All right, Rafi, you go ahead. How do we help this family?
Justice must be done. Please, we need our governor to take good care of this because of another person. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Sophie. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from?
Jacob Olaore is my name again. What I'm saying that I want justice not be taking action. And I want to make them to take this case to Governor Ṣèyí Mákindé. He's a good governor. He's a merciful governor. And then you must find this proper, this soldier. Find it out. Let everybody know. And justice must. I want this case to be justice.
Okay, now my Yoruba is getting back. We don't need to fight dirty. Let the law take its due course. Thank you for that. But if you want to see the face of the Lance Corporal there, go on Facebook. Go on our Facebook page. The program is live on Facebook. The picture of the Lance Corporal is on the top left of the Facebook page. And the two kids, you see them below. You see those beautiful kids below. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from?
Yes. And I don't know why.
What's your name, please? Your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Joseph.
Okay.
Calling from Tipagara.
All right. Okay.
Yes. I don't know why what is happening in our country. Those are supposed to protect lives and property of this country that they won't clean us. I don't know. So what I want the government to do is that not only provide a scholarship. After providing the scholarship, they should try and provide a job for the mother so that she have something to feed ourselves. Please, the future of those children is so bright. They should try and do justice to the issue. And also this couple, they shouldn't let him go free like that. Justice must be served. He should not serve as a couple of this country again. He's not worthy. They are not worthy to be a couple in this country again. Please, sir, justice should be served.
All right, thank you for calling. Hello.
Hello.
Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Sheriff calling from
Your name is what?
I'm Sheriff calling from Manara.
All right, let's have your thoughts.
So early this morning because last week, maybe before this week or not, around Monday or Tuesday, those people that they protest, are you with me? So I saw
Go ahead.
that they even asked someone among them that narrate this story. So it's not different from what you play for us. But for my own, that's the reason why we are calling for devolution of power. Because on that day, I think deeply that what can we do to stop all these incidents? This is not the first time, this is not the second time apart that, Henry. But our military is supposed to protect us, and you can't do the needful for us to protect the territory of our country. But instead of that, they are paying the innocent so that is very innocent, it's not a criminal. But what we need in this country is the system that we are operating is very faulty. Because despite all what we have.
Okay, Sheriff, your line seemed to be a little bit crappy this morning. Thank you for your points. Let's pick this final call and then call it some wrap. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Ikechukwu. I'm calling from Dubai.
All right, let's have your thoughts, Ikechukwu.
Please, we don't need any going to prison or going to jail. Let them finish these people immediately. To put these people in one room or another, tomorrow night we change them. Let the judgment start now and finish these people immediately.
All right, thank you, Ikechukwu. Thoughts there.
Hello.
Two wrongs don't make a right. Let's look at a civil society where the law has to take its due course. You don't fight when you see a madman on the street. You don't fight with a madman because at the end of the day, you also be tagged the mad person too. So let the law take its due course, and we'll follow it to the last letter by the special grace of the Almighty. Dr. Chris, thank you for featuring on the podium this morning.
Thank you very much, CHIKE, for having me, and thank you, Nigerians, for your call and your concern. And our own is that we still appeal to you. Lawrence and Imelda today have no father. These children need to go to school. They will eat, and the journey is still on. So we appeal to well-meaning Nigerians, corporate organization, to come to their aid. Also, the wife, as we speak, she is unemployed. So we also appeal to institutions, government, to quickly come to their aid so that survival doesn't become an issue. Again, CHIKE, thank you, and thank you for having me.
All right, thank you there. Imelda,
Sir?
What's the name of your school?
The name of my school is Little Professor School
Where is Little Professor?
at Idishi.
Okay, before the Morgan House, right? Before that hill. After the police post at Idishi.
Yes.
Okay, I think I know the school. And you are in primary 5.
Yes.
When are you meant to resume school?
On September
September when?
19.
19th of September. School is meant to resume.
Yes.
Okay. And you have to pay school fees before school resumes, right?
Yes.
Little Professors is a private school, and it's one of those schools that I see around. Okay. You attend the same school with Lawrence, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Lawrence is also in the same school, and he's in primary 2.
Yes.
Okay. These kids will resume on the 19th. Today is the 27th of August, 2022. They must not stay at home. They will go to school. Mrs. Henry Munachimsu, thank you for featuring, and I want to advise you, I just want to plead with you. It's a tough time. It's a difficult time. But try as much as possible to gather your hearts together. These kids need you now. I know everything good will come. Let's be hopeful that the relevant authorities will do the needful. Take heart. Sadly, you can't bring him back. He's gone. He's gone. But God will comfort you and comfort the family.
Amen.
Thank you for coming. It's still the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. We'll go on this break, and when we come back, we'll discuss more politics.
Safa saphela isizwe simnyama iwasafa isizwe saba kavula moya enikokelize wemaye wemodo safa saphela isizwe simnyama iwasafa isizwe saba kavula moya enikokelize wemaye ngiyakhala Safa phela isizwe simnyama iwasafa isizwe sabantu alamula anitsheleni inkokhelize wemaye wemodo
Barrister, good morning, and thank you for still hanging on. It's been a very cold morning here in the studio, and so pathetic that we have issues like this coming up every day in the country, and then you want to analyze and say, okay, when will this end? When will Nigeria grow beyond this? You know, security-wise, things are not. Things seem to be, very awry in the country. Are you there, Barrister?
Chike, yes, I'm with you.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
So we're just looking at the awry situation in the country right now. There's insecurity. Even the security agents that are supposed to secure lives and properties are the ones perpetrating this. You know, it's so sad. Hello, Barrister.
It is really very unfortunate, Chike. Indiscipline abounds everywhere in this country. You know, I was watching a video yesterday. There was a little trouble in one of the states in America, and the president called the governor and said, "Look, if it gets out of hand, please kindly get back to me so that I can send, the soldiers." And the message I got from that is, you don't see soldiers on the streets. The states have their own police, and the soldiers are the exclusive preserve of the federal government. Their deployment with the federal government. You don't find them on the streets. But in Nigeria, you will find soldiers mounting roadblocks, collecting money from taxi drivers, Okada riders, and Marwa riders. And nobody does anything. Everybody just does what they like. No consequence, nothing. There's trouble in this country. There is big trouble in this country. I'm telling you, the only time you get the government to react, because they are reactionaries anyway, is when the child of a big man is a victim. But if it is the poor, you see, we have to scream and scream and scream on radio. And they don't even listen to us. We are in a big mess. It's a big mess.
Unfortunately, Barrister, it's happening this way. However, there must be a solution to this problem.
Yes. I have said it. A country where there is absence of law enforcement, you should expect anything. Now, if a man has killed another in a manner that is inconsistent with the laws of the land, there are provisions of the law to deal with him. But in Nigeria, if you know somebody who knows somebody that knows somebody who knows somebody that knows somebody in high places, you can get away with it. During the NSAS protest, it was at a time when the president had directed that all those who have licensed firearms should submit them to the police. During NSAS, that directive was operative, but there was a politician who was reported to have brought out a gun and was shooting at the protesters. What happened to him? Nothing. That's the kind of country we live in. And it's unfortunate.
So unfortunate.
For as long as there is absence of law enforcement, you cannot organize the society. You cannot.
Professor Remi Ayede, you want to be in consonance with Barrister Yomi Ogunlola?
Yeah, I think we must not lose sight of what actually happened. Because the soldier man was not on the road. He was not on official assignment. He was just like every other passenger. And it was just, I don't know, it was mean. He came out of the car, punctured the tires, went back to the barrack, got a couple of his friends to come and do the havoc. So it's a very peculiar situation that beats our imagination because the deliberateness, the consistency in doing harm over a period of time, it's something else. Because it's not as if it's something that happened accidentally. You understand? So you have this encounter, you puncture the tire, it was not sufficient for you because the NURT people were trying to protect the man. You go back to the barracks, you get reinforcement. Is it anger? Is it frustration? Is it wickedness? I mean, it beats the imagination that you consistently go against the law.
It could be mental instability.
I don't know, but how did he get the other colleagues to join him? So, because if it was something that happened suddenly without that measure of deliberateness, one would have said, okay, they'd be involved in all kinds of activities in the northeast and other parts of Nigeria. Maybe it's post-traumatic experience or something, but it doesn't look like that. It's the level of wickedness and deliberativeness that has accompanied that action, called for a very special investigation and attention, to what's going on within the barracks. Even the training of the military in terms of how they interact. Because, yes, it's true they are confined to the barracks, but they still have to go out, to do one or two things.
Even going out, in the barracks, there's a place they call the Mami Market.
Yes.
It provides officers everything they need within the barracks instead of going out.
Yeah, but they will have relatives. They will have people they want to go and see.
Yeah, people can come and visit them in the barracks. There used to be this strict discipline in the military, especially in the barracks. I remember many years back at the OGBOGU barracks there. As a military officer, you don't go out anyhow. If anybody wants to see you, a person comes to the barracks to see you, and you host the person either in your house or at the Mami Market. But today, the reverse is the case. You see people, you see the young military officers moving around the streets, showing force, showing power. And then you ask, is this the same military? We as passengers of the Nigerian bus, have we also been brutalized? Have our tires been deflated as a people? That's the question for this morning. Barrister Yomi Ogunlola.
Yes.
Your tires, have they been deflated as a citizen of Nigeria.
You know these people. I always tell my friends and loved ones, don't you ever argue with a uniformed man. Don't ever try it. That's what I tell people. Until you leave that place and go and make a report, even if he slaps you, say, oh, thank you, sir. Oga, I'm very sorry, sir. Thank you, sir. Oga, I'm very sorry, sir. I can prostrate for you, sir. I know I have offended you. That is the attitude to save your life. Don't argue. Don't ever argue with a uniformed man at the scene of oppression. Don't ever do that. You see, now, from what the prof was saying, the provision of the law is that only the president can deploy soldiers, except where, as permissible by law, he delegates that responsibility, maybe to a GOC or whatever, and that kind of stuff. So the matter goes beyond those ordinary officers that went outside to perpetrate that illegality. The commander of their battalion or their unit or division that they belong to should carry vicarious liability. How can soldiers leave the barracks without your knowledge, without your consent? No. So he himself, who heads wherever barracks they came from, should also be held vicariously liable for what happened.
All right, let's go on this break, and when we come back, the podium continues. Don't go away.
Who is this one? Why are all these women always like this? What sort of nonsense is this? See, I will hit you if you don't.
Oga, will you keep quiet? Yes, I mean it. Keep quiet. Why are you transferring aggression on these innocent street sweepers? People paid very little by the government to sweep the streets, hustling people, doing menial jobs to make life easy for you and I, people that we should be hailing and pampering. Or don't you know it takes some level of commitment to do this kind of job? Some motorists drive like they want to break their legs. Some bikes will almost climb their heads. And keke drivers act as if they are invisible. You people should fear God, though. Stop disrespecting our road sweepers. Once you sight them from afar, slow down and drive responsibly. In fact, it's not out of place if we can be generous to them. Do you know any sweeper in your neighborhood that deserves to be specially appreciated? Send such sweeper's name, locality, and picture to 0906 2000 949. 0906 2000 949. 32 FM is beseeching us. Let's protect the sweepers.
lórí ètò òṣèlú ẹ pàdé Peter Ọlásùpọ̀ Captain P2 pẹ̀lú àwọn ọ̀jìnì olóṣèlú tí ó máa gbà lálejò láti mọ ibi tí nǹkan dé dúró lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí àti ní ìpínlẹ̀ wa. Lórí ètò òṣèlú nílẹ̀ yìí kó ipa tirẹ̀ nípa gbígbọ́ ìkànnì 32 FM 94.9 ní gbogbo ọjọ́ ajé Monday láago 11 sí 12 ọ̀sán. Ètò òṣèlú àjọ máa gbọ́ ni.
Who is this one? Why are all these women always like this? What sort of nonsense is this? See, I will hit you if you don't.
Oga, will you keep quiet? Yes, I mean it. Keep quiet. Why are you transferring aggression on these innocent street sweepers? People paid very little by the government to sweep the streets, hustling people, doing menial jobs to make life easy for you and I, people that we should be hailing and pampering. Or don't you know it takes some level of commitment to do this kind of job? Some motorists drive like they want to break their legs. Some bikes will almost climb their heads. And keke drivers act as if they are invisible. You people should fear God, oh. Stop disrespecting our road sweepers. Once you sight them from afar, slow down and drive responsibly. In fact, it's not out of place if we can be generous to them. Do you know any sweeper in your neighborhood that deserves to be specially appreciated? Send such sweeper's name, locality, and picture to 0906 2000 949. 0906 2000 949. 32 FM is beseeching us. Let's protect the sweepers.
Welcome back to the podium on 32 FM 94.9. I am CHIKE, OGBOGU, and I have Barrister Yomi Ogunlola and Professor Remi Ayede here in the studio. You just listened to a campaign here from 32 FM. And what's the campaign? There are these women you see sweeping on the road. They sweep our roads. And sometimes, because of the impatience from the commuters, you see some people go hit them. Some people even abuse them. Leave the road, leave the road. But these people are also trying to keep the road clean. And so 32 FM is reaching out to them. If you know of any sweeper, especially on the express, not in your, don't send pictures of women sweeping their homes or sweeping their shops. Those women on the streets, sweeping streets, they're also human beings. They are mothers. They are sisters. They need to be taken care of. They need to be pampered. So if you, perchance, know any of them or bump into any of them, just take a shot. Take a shot of them. Then send to this WhatsApp number, 0906 2000 949. The WhatsApp number. Snap the picture and send to that WhatsApp number with your name and the name of the sweeper and the locality, the area where you got that person. We might just put a very lovely smile on that person's face. And it can only happen on 32 FM 94.9. Back to the podium on this dial. During the week, there were stories making rounds. In fact, it trended from Monday after the NBA conference to yesterday. The NBA conference, I know it's Barrister Yomi Ogunlola's jurisdiction. However, lawyers got naughty after the conference. Some he went as far as stealing conference bags. It was confirmed by the NBA president. So it's not me talking now. So lawyers going to steal conference bags, scatter the whole place, turn tables upside down, all because of souvenirs, pen, jotters, and all that. It was so sad. An event that was supposed to end on a very lovely note. The highlight of the event was a fashion parade. I call it a fashion parade that became a talking point, and it became a challenge. I don't know if Barrister Yomi Ogunlola wore a red tie and a black suit, and maybe your trainers too. I tried to do that challenge, but it didn't work for me.
It didn't work for you.
I didn't get the right size of the suit.
Okay.
And my tailor says he likes sewing slim fit trousers. Okay. He couldn't sew the baggy combo suit. But that's on a lighter note.
Yes.
And after that, we're going to take these issues one after the other. After that, we had the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party traveling to the United Kingdom, meeting with the governor of Rivers State, Governor Nyesom Wike, who was also with the governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde, also the governor of Abia State, Okezie Ikpeazu. Donald Duke was there, former governor of Cross River State, and some others. They had a meeting. We also heard that the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, also went to meet with Wike. I didn't see pictures of that, but I only saw pictures of the PDP presidential candidate. Also, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, that's Peter Obi, also met with Wike. Wike seemed to be the bride now. He seemed to be that lady on the street. Permit me to use the word, the babe on the street, where everybody wants to have. Wike. Something is in the pot. Something is cooking. What is that thing cooking in the pot? Let me start with you, Professor Remi Ayede. The movement and all this, how does it translate to the political environment in Nigeria, especially the political development of Nigeria ahead of the 2023 elections?
Okay, let me tell you what I can smell from the cooking pot.
Prof is smelling.
Yeah, Wike has suddenly recreate an image for himself as a very powerful force in the politics of Nigeria. And it seems as if there's general belief within the juggernauts of the political parties that he has the key to the South-South. And probably a significant part of the Southeast as well. That's why he has suddenly become an object that everyone wants to keep. Yes, okay, before I even make that, I remember at the office yesterday, one of the junior staff was telling me, why is this meeting in London, filling the whole of the newspapers? And I said, no, they are meeting with you. Can he say, yeah? He said, but can't they meet in Nigeria? They said, we don't have dollars and pounds. How come that they are still taking our money to go and spend in London? Oh. I say, well, so there are different dimensions to it. Yeah. That's just by the way. Now, what I see there, and then of course Obasanjo was also in the picture.
Obasanjo too was in the picture.
The whole idea is they are trying to see if they can, grab Wike from the PDP. Since there's a long-standing and protracted
So who is grabbing? Is it the APC or the Labour Party? Who is grabbing Wike from the PDP?
It's both the APC and the Labour Party. The APC, of course, okay, we know the presidential candidate of the Labour Party was originally in the PDP. Yes. And when he saw the direction of the primaries. He decided to vote with his feet. Now, and you also know that as soon as he won the Labour Party ticket, he actually visited Wike. And then the idea is that you continue to talk to Wike for support. Then, of course, once Wike fell out with Atiku in the PDP, remember the 5 governors that went to visit him from the APC?
From the APC.
Yeah, they were there. And then since then, there have been all kinds of emissaries, sent to him. As at the time Asiwaju was in France, remember, there was also the rumor that he has actually gone to see Wike at some point, or Wike was with him at some point, and before we were told that Wike was actually in Turkey and not in France. So people also are expecting that the APC will, leave no stone unturned to get Wike into their party. While people have also advised Atiku to make up. In fact, the member top notch within the PDP expressed surprise that the reconciliation has taken so long. They expected that by now a bold effort, at reconciliation and then bringing Wike back into the party should have occurred. And there's this back and forth and so on and so forth. So I think where we are now is that, judging from the statement from Wike about the meeting, because was that he said, he has met with this, he has met with that, and the step he's going to take will be the interests of Nigeria. And that the time has come where it's not where the person comes from that matters. It's actually the need for a competent person to address the current major problems that is affecting the country, saying that Nigeria is in a very difficult situation. So if you look at that, there's some kind of vacillating. We are not sure where Wike stands right now. But with Obasanjo in the picture, the idea is that there's a strong force, in support of Wike going to join the Labour Party.
Okay.
While Atiku is trying to get him, prevent the PDP losing him, because it will be a loss to the PDP. If Wike relocates to another party. Of course, we know the APC presidential candidate has been working very hard, to get Wike. So everything is still in the table of Wike, and he has not stated very categorically where he's standing currently, because the idea originally was that he has been such a strong force in PDP that he's not likely to leave the PDP for any other party. But there's no sign as we speak now that it's very unlikely to leave the PDP. So the impression he has given is that he can appear on any platform.
All right, Barrister Yomi Ogunlola, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who is also the presidential candidate of the PDP, seems to be under pressure now. The aroma of the pot may not be scintillating after all for him. Do you see him bending to Wike's demands, especially when Wike says the national chairman of PDP should resign, should step down, or be removed? But the thing is this, in an election year, moving towards an election year, it might be disastrous for a ruling for a party going into the elections, sacking the chairman of the party. Don't you think so?
Yes. Thank you very much, Chike. Now, before I go, because I think Prof has given an excellent analysis of what is at stake with the political gladiators. But before I make my submission on that, let me quickly touch on the issue of the NBA. That it was
Prof,
really sad.
Barrister, you want to defend your constituency?
There's nothing to defend.
I cannot defend what is wrong.
Okay.
I will never do that.
Okay. Go ahead.
You see, because lawyers are supposed to be the builders of the nation. And I am a lawyer. I come here almost every time criticizing the activities of government, not doing it in accordance with laid down procedure. Why should my constituency come and display what they displayed? That was most unfortunate. But it just corroborates the point I made earlier, that there is indiscipline everywhere. And it is because there are no consequences for indiscipline. The NBA should be ashamed of itself that a conference that took so long to prepare for, they knew the number of participants that were coming. They knew the number of people who were going to need the conference materials and all that. And they allowed the situation to degenerate to the kind of level that we all witnessed. That is most unfortunate. That is most unacceptable. And then secondly, I look at the issue of the so-called fashion parade. I have said something in the past. Nigerians, it appears a lot of us are jobless. We don't really know what we want. Because Prof will stand by me with this one. We never look at the coat on a man. We look at the man in the coat. Shetima gave a very good standing of himself at the conference with the speech that he delivered. I wonder why it was his outfit that attracted the attention of a lot of people. You see, philosophers, or is it psychologists? Psychologists call that state free association, that state of the mind. It is not focused. When it is thinking about Obasanjo now, the next second it is thinking about Muhammadu Buhari, and then it goes from Muhammadu Buhari to IBB, and then from IBB it goes to a whale that was found by the sea. It should not be so. We have issues to settle in this country now, and I'll go to Ati Tyler in Longwo Ati Sneakers. It is not the man, the coat on a man. It is the man in the coat. Now, having said that, let me go back to the issue of the politics. You see, a lot of things are happening. Don't forget, Jagaban is called a strategist, and it is not for nothing. Asiwaju knows that the votes in the north are going to be shared between his party and the PDP. He believes that he probably would have an edge in the southwest. He is now looking at the east. He knows they are not so friendly with him. So, how do we take care of the east? Why don't we woo Wike so that rather than Atiku getting southeast, let Obi get it and spoil PDP votes? PDP is also thinking, look, if we have the north and we have the east, we will have it on our side, though. There's no way Asiwaju is going to get 100% in the southwest, where even if it is 30-40%. So this is the game that is actually playing out. But I feel very sad. And why? Prof thinks it shouldn't really be a major issue, but I think it is major. I think it is the indiscipline that I talked about is quite evident in what is happening here. How many times have you seen politicians in UK going to America to go and discuss the development of their country? How many times have you seen Ghanaian politicians coming to Nigeria to come and hold meeting? How many times have you seen the Americans going to any other country? It just shows you one thing. These people are the same people that they have been right from before independence. Don't forget that it is this same London that they were holding all their conferences and all their meetings and everything about Nigeria. 62 years after, look at where we are. And that was the period of colonialism. So what is the period now? Neo-colonialism. These people have nothing for this country, I can assure you. How can a country that is so poor, I mean, that's what they are telling us now, that we are poor. A country where the citizens cannot feed 3 times in a week, in a day. If you get one, you must be very, very lucky. A country where the children have been out of school for more than 6 months. And then they say they are going to hold their meeting in London. At a time when some countries are building their tourist centers and earning good foreign exchange. We have Obodukatu Ranch there. We have Yankari Game Reserve. We have Ikogosi, One Water Springs. They couldn't hold their own meetings there. It's understandable. Shebi, one of them told an Oba here, he said, I am richer than your state. He was bold enough to even come out to the public because the others have not come out. But we all know that they are richer than the country. Any country where the individuals are richer than their own country, that country is in trouble. All these people we are talking about, they are richer than Nigeria. Nigeria is poor. They are rich. I hope the people are listening.
I have this conspiracy theory, Prof. What if? These are postulations. Everybody is postulating. What if Atiku Abubakar, being under pressure, is told to collapse or to merge with the Labour Party and allow a South-South candidacy to thrive? It could be a possibility where collapse your structure. Let us have a Peter Obi and the Bola Ahmed Tinubu let them go to the field and slug it out there. would that be a possible occurrence?
That would be a wonderful thing, but it's very unlikely.
Okay.
Because Atiku is not likely to relinquish that ticket.
His ambition he has been looking for since 1992.
It's like also imagining that.
So we'll now have two candidates who wants to fulfill their life ambition.
Absolutely. So it's like asking Ashiwaju to relinquish that position. It's not likely to happen. So I don't see that happening at all. In fact, what I see is him trying to consolidate his ticket by trying to woo Wike from leaving the PDP. But if that would have been the case, it would have been very, very great because, as you know, under the political settlement surrounding the zoning principle, it's supposed to be the turn of the East. But the ambition of these two individuals, in fact, including Wike himself, made nonsense of that elite agreement that came out of the June 12th annulment crisis. So probably that's also what Obasanjo is chasing when he went to see them in London, because he has always been flying that same principle that if we want stability, we allow this thing to go around. Then after that, we can then begin to talk of whoever is competent, let him stand. But until it goes to the critical zonal geopolitical zones in the south, there will still be some remnant of grievances which should be taken care of before we throw the ring open for anybody to join the fight.
All right, Barrister, do you see that conspiracy theory happening?
The one about collapsing the structures to support
probably supporting Peter Obi.
I doubt if that will happen, like Prof said. Nigerians are too ambitious. They are too greedy. They are too selfish. You know, all the negatives you can think of. In an ideal situation, like Prof said, look, everybody is looking up to a situation where a man from the East is able to become governor in Zamfara State if the people see him as competent. A man from Zamfara is able to become the governor of Akwa Ibom State if the people find him competent, provided, as required by law, he has lived within the environment for a certain number of time and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, we cannot go there now. The North has had its fair share of Aso Rock. The West has had its fair share of Aso Rock. The South has had its share. For God's holy sake, in the interest of justice and fair play and equity, why shouldn't it go to the East? Like Prof rightly said, I adopt his submissions. Let us give it to the East first. And after that, we now come out and say, look, henceforward, it is going to be competence, capacity, and capability. That's when we will say, okay, everybody has had his fair share. Now, let's do it as it should be. But they are selfish. They are greedy, you know, and they are ruled from their bellies. They don't have the concern of the masses. How can a man be spending well over $25 million just to go to Aso Rock, and you think he is going to care for the masses? All of them.
Barrister, do you have a verified figure? Like you're saying, $25 million. Is it verifiable?
It is even more than that. At least you saw what happened after they brought their shame to the fore. The dollar relative to the naira relative to the dollar not fall. We got to about 720. What do you think happened? They mopped up all the dollars in the market. And the only reason why you find the price coming down now, maybe some of the delegates are beginning to change their dollars for naira.
But I thought I saw you, Barrister. I thought I saw you in Abuja then.
Amy.
As part of the delegates.
Amy Ogino Buruku. I live off my sweat. That's why you don't see my cars in the smoke. If I don't go join them, I go down the right jeep. Me and Professor. You know, say Professor, I did not collect money for the past 6 months now.
In fact, it's so
I
pathetic.
know, say he go fight me. Say, at the fight it, they must not pay them.
In fact, that's where we are heading to now, Barrister.
Oh, that's where we are heading.
Yeah, that's where we are heading to now. We're going to use that to wrap up the show. 6 months, going to the 7th month, no salaries for lecturers, and they're saying no work, no pay. But the question is this: there are some research institutes have been on strike since September last year. Next month will make it 1 year. But they've been receiving salaries.
Yes, because they are special.
Because they are special,
There's
right?
a vendetta against
lecturers.
the professors. Yes, I mean, the polytechnic people have been in strike, they get paid. The medical people go on strike and they get paid. I think that as the BRICS committee published in its, in the media, first the publication shows very clearly that those who have been representing the federal government officially, the ministers, have actually been very responsible. They've told blatant lies even against the committee, making statements that are not within the remit of the committee, not to talk of being featuring in the reports that they said they've given. So when you see politicians engaging in blatant lies, for instance, they were saying they needed 1.something trillion.
1.2 trillion.
Yeah, and then the BRICS people said there was nothing like that, and that even if they put the best recommendation they have made together, that it doesn't even come close to that. So you then ask yourself, so where did those figures come from?
Don't you think Mr. President should dissolve any committee and have a direct conversation?
You see, you don't need a direct conversation because what is going on is
the Minister of Labour is telling us a difference.
It's a bit technical. The thing is, you set up a committee because that's the traditional way you do things. You follow process.
Okay.
You understand? And then the committee gives you its report. What we are expecting, for instance, the Anrasai report of how many years ago? Only last week they brought a white paper. Or this week, in fact, they brought a white paper on the report on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So you see how long it took them, for a report that was, I think, around 2011. That's when the Orange report was made, and they are bringing a white paper now. Now, what we're saying is, government is about process, and that's why it's not about the minister. It's not about Ngige, nor is it about Adamu. Because it is not their father's patrimony. It's about our collective resources.
But they should come out and tell people the truth.
Yeah, because why would they go and start telling blatant lies that we didn't even know? Because the committee who presented the report, they should know, and they have come out open. In fact, they are so pained that they have to buy pages in the newspaper, to make their point. And then and the same ministers will come on media to talk. I mean, that level of irresponsibility is unacceptable. They should, in fact, resign. You understand? I mean, blatant lies. The committee coming out to say these things you have said, it did not occur. So it's a big problem for us in this country because one, you then ask yourself, what is the foundation of those positions? What is it about? Because the contradiction is so huge. You can't fund university, but you are establishing new ones. You can't pay academics. Because this problem is just, the academic dimension is just the beginning. Because look at the inflationary trend in the country. Look at the wages of public servants. Gradually, we are getting to a point where our salaries can take us home. And the chances are that the NLC itself, in a couple of months or so, will also join the fray, asking for a general review.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they are trying to run away from, because it's inevitable, given the direction of the economy. So the ASU one, we are earlier because the nature of our job is that we are global. The university is a universal environment. The market is universal, and we are perpetually comparing ourselves with our colleagues across the globe. And we don't want our university to collapse because of the number of people who are relocating as a result of
Prof, I'm going to ask you one question, and that will be your final submission for today's show. However, let me just get Barrister's thoughts in just 1 minute because we have to leave now.
Okay. I know that Prof has defended his constituency very well. But having said that, you see, Chike, the world over, particularly the developed world, the changes that attend to society emanate from the citadels of learning. Now, what we are finding is that universities in Nigeria don't provide solution for societal problems. They are part and parcel of the problem. As a matter of fact, the
Barrister,
system,
you just have to wrap up your thoughts because we have to leave now.
Yes, the university system is a reflection of societal problems. ASU cannot be asking the government to obey the law. For instance, the agreement they entered into in 2009, I guess, and at the same breath, asking the government to violate a law of the land. No work, no pay is a law of the land.
All right, Barrister, we have to go. We'll continue this discussion next week. I promise you, this will be the crux of our first segment on the podium next week. All right.
As your lordship pleases.
Thank you, Barrister, for featuring on the podium this morning.
I look forward to joining issues with him next week.
Yeah, we're going to debate on this. Meanwhile, Prof, if you had the opportunity to go abroad to go work abroad, would you do that?
If I wanted to go, I would have gone a long time ago.
Okay.
I have no plan to leave.
Because some lecturers are leaving. Right?
They are leaving, and I have no plan to leave. I would have left many years ago.
All right. Thank you for featuring on the podium.
It's been
Prof.
a pleasure.
My name is CHIKE OGBOGU. Thank you for featuring on the podium this morning. And dear listener, thank you for being there. David Adisa, thank you for working with me on the podium. I worked alongside Kemi Adetimehin and Kayode Bisheson, also Bemisola Falona. Up next is Ija Odola with Tobilola Ogunshino, the one you know as Wo Kilumo. And after that, by 12:30, it will be time for Ege with Sporting Crystal. Enjoy your weekend and bye for now.